The Confessions of St. Augustine, a 21st century damier. The blurb also goes on to say, because running counterpoint to this paean to the America of our youth is the voice of a Holden Caulfield grown up into an Alexander Portney, debunking the very America he's now painting. Masking his talent with a wise guy facade, he finds more justification creating chaos out of order than order out of chaos. Thus the title of the first section of the first novel, Portrait of an American Wise Guy. Because even though we're inundated with his art from the very first page, past, present, and future, his first mention of an even passing interest in it doesn't occur until page 56 when he's on the road, none of which he even takes seriously then. And Portney from the novel was Portnoy, but for those of you who also shared an affinity with that eponymous hero, you may recall his big adolescent moment when he tries to pass for the Goy Boy and is imagining all the non-Yiddish names he could use, such as Al Port, Al Parsons, Port Noir, etc. A subtle reminder for all you true Portnoy fans out there. And if you need further portents, words like debunking and creating chaos should be a clue here. But enough of the explanations, this isn't an English class, and if you didn't love Portnoy, you wouldn't remember it anyway, in which case you wouldn't have noticed the added twist of Portney for Portnoy in the first place. And if you didn't like that book, you definitely wouldn't like this book, even though it does have a lot of nice pictures in it. If this reminds you of what appears to be previous typos that aren't, see previous examples 12 and 27. For further examples of what may appear to be deconstructionist mind games, e.g. Finnegan's Wake to Finnegan's Wake, see the following post. Anyway, that's when I started thinking about drawing for a living. The one choice I had left, I figured, the one talent I've been told I have, other than wrestling, in case I haven't mentioned it, like these little scenes I keep showing you. Something which I never mention, though. To anyone. Art, that is. The wrestling I tell everybody. But art even sounds sort of soft. Gentle, doesn't it? Like you should whisper it when you say it. Art. But people always find out, because it's sort of compulsive, and everybody says I'm really good. Not that I care one way or the other, I do it because it's compulsive. I draw people, mainly. Used to always create these beautiful ones, like Greek gods and goddesses, until I started doing them from real life, then I switched to caricatures. Until that, too, was wasted. Squandered in a life of mockery and scorn. Thus, one of my greatest masterpieces was of this guy I used to really hate in school, who looked and acted like 1,000 other faces. Right, Todd Duncan, who else? And I've even noticed that a person will often reveal himself unwittingly while posing. I mean, they all start out confidently, but if I start taking more time than they had expected, they start to wonder why. The confident ones have no doubt that my struggle is because beauty is so difficult to capture, while the others are afraid I'm prolonging the sessions out of despair. Old Todd's confidence even seemed to grow, never once doubting that he was a fine subject, the shithead, and assuming I was a good artist, the picture would reveal those excellent features that a camera could never have included. And the fact that his roommate said the drawing was great assured him I was doing justice to the face. He called himself the Face, can you imagine? And he laughed a lot like Dad, too. Haha. Except the objective confirmation of others can make that final confrontation of the art and the subject of that art a disturbing moment of introspection. Haha. He laughs. And any confidence previously exhibited can be all the more put to the test, I told Face. Haha. But he was too anxious. So when Face first saw the picture, and I always wait until I'm finished, he was like a man who just saw his face after a bad accident. Yeah, and to make it even better, someone else started laughing first and said, "You know, the more you look at that picture, the more it looks just like you." And pretty soon everybody else was laughing too, and even better, Face nabbed a few impartial critics of his own, who all laughed even louder. Until he finally stuck it in his closet along with the rest of his skeletons, while I tried to remind him, over the roar of the laughter now, a beautiful sound, of the purpose of caricaturing and its subjectivity. The caricaturist sees not what people want him to see, but what they don't. A long, delicate Grecian nose is merely a weather vane, or a cute pug nose disappears behind 2 gaping holes, and any other ambiguous feature is settled once and for all in favor of the more honest, because you really are an ugly son of a bitch to begin with. But he wasn't listening anymore. A broken man. But at least he agreed about the subjectivity, but in a very detached way, and I don't think he ever did reconcile that thing he saw on paper with what he'll have to look at in the mirror the rest of his life. Anyway, Face never did make any more mention of my drawing, except to try in a sort of desperate way to get the others to get theirs drawn too, but nothing doing. Only a fool'd do that. But hell, it'd never work either, would it? That type always bounces back, and you either have to make money to keep doing it, like a businessman, or be the pure artist, neither of which I am. No, real art seeks truth, not revenge. Something I love too much. And besides, a machismo doesn't draw pictures. God, no. And you see, that's the real struggle I've always had with myself anyway. But then again, what the hell a machismo does? That's what I'm wondering about. Doesn't chicken out of climbing up a tower, for sure. But what's the use of thinking about that either? And hell, just what a man does would suffice. and then thinking about the Indians again, but no, that wouldn't do either, and then the art again, and then Riker, or maybe just existing, like I am right now. And so I was like that for a while. To be continued. The Confessions of St. Augustine. Now available on Amazon.com.